Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cornell Cooperative Extension. I'm Mike Danaher, an Assistant Attorney General with the New York State Attorney General's Office, and I'm here for our monthly consumer issue program here at Cornell Cooperative Extension on Willow Avenue in Ithaca. Just as an invitation to all of you watching out in TV land, we're here on the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. And we encourage anyone out there with any consumer-related question to come down and join us. Or if you don't have anything going on, just come down and join us. It's always good when we have people out in the audience to participate in the conversation. Today's conversation is a biggie. It's one of the ones that we in the Attorney General's Office receive a fair number of complaints about each year. And that involves the purchase, repair of automobiles, motor vehicles. We receive a lot of complaints on inspections not being appropriate or repairs not being done, and maybe things not disclosed in the purchase of the vehicle. And so we can talk about a number of issues related to those and how we can fulfill our goal of being good consumers when it comes to purchasing or going out and getting an automobile repaired. There are a number of laws that apply to all of this, but a good common sense and good due diligence goes a long way in helping to protect ourselves. We know, those of you that purchased vehicles recently, that it is one of the largest purchases that we make on a single occasion. We have to replace automobiles periodically as well, so it isn't the sort of thing as you make one large outlay of money to purchase a car and then you don't have to worry about it again. It's something that we have to go about purchasing. It's probably the greatest expense overall that we have, even taking into account a cost of a home. When you add up the purchases, repairs on motor vehicles throughout our entire lifetime. It's rivals with the cost of houses, the cost of education, the cost of health care, and then putting in that also the cost of motor vehicles. We receive a number of complaints each year, one regarding purchasing of automobiles, and second of all, repairing automobiles. And unlike a home, unlike the cost of an education, which presumably enhance in value over a period of time. When you add in an education, sure, it's a huge cost, but as we advance in our professional careers, there's a value associated with that that is enhanced over a period of time. When you add work experience on top of education, there's an enhancement there. Homes appreciate in value for the most part. We've had instances in periods of time based on economy that housing prices may have depreciated, but around here in the Ithaca area, southern tier of New York as well, central New York, we didn't get hit as badly as far as values of real property when the economy tanked back in 2008. So as a whole, home ownership appreciates over a period of time. And with the automobile, we do spend a lot of money, but it's different because that is an asset that depreciates. The more it gets used, the value gets less. The longer that you've owned it, the value gets less. And therefore, we need to try to extend the life of those vehicles as long as possible. Most of us also know very little about the inner workings of an automobile. We very rarely go into the car or lift the hood. We let the professionals do that. We also don't know as much as the people that we're dealing with when purchasing a car or having a car repaired. They know what's going on. And when the deal of purchasing a car comes down, we may get more confused about the different numbers that are being thrown about toward us, and therefore might be able to be taken advantage of more readily. So all these things can lead to problems, and we can hopefully address all of those and do everything that we can to make it so that we have a good buying experience. One of the things that we do to be a good consumer is to understand all of the numbers. I will tell you, we receive a fair number of complaints in the Attorney General's office from consumers who clearly do not understand the numbers. And it's obvious to me when I see the complaint, they claim that they got ripped off because they didn't expect that their loan was going to be X number of dollars. But when they send me the financial documents associated with the deal, you can see how the numbers fell into place. And consequently, if the consumer had taken a little bit more time to understand the numbers, they would have known how much that loan was going to be. And since they hadn't signed the documents yet, they would have been able to walk away if they truly understood what the numbers were. The problem you get into is when you sign on to the deal and then afterwards start complaining about what the numbers were. The most important thing in the purchase situation is for people to understand the numbers before any of the documents are signed. Do your due diligence, not only with the numbers, but take the car for a test drive. Understand how it feels. Understand if there's any noises. Understand if it pulls one way or the other. Because the most bargaining power you have is before you sign the document. Used vehicles, in particular, take the vehicle to a respected mechanic. Your mechanic that you hopefully already have ahead of time. Have them do the once over. It's well worth it to you if you have to pay someone, a mechanic, to inspect the vehicle ahead of time, to note any particular problems so that you can go in to have a good decision. Familiarize yourself enough with the car and the process so that you will reduce the probability that you are going to have a problem in the future. As far as the purchase goes, a crucial element in the purchase is know what you need before you go in to decide what vehicle it is that you're going to purchase. Don't let somebody talk you into something that you don't need. Yes, all the bells and whistles are really nice on vehicles, and a lot of newer cars now are all coming standard with a lot of the things. But decide what you need and decide whether or not you can afford this, that, or the other thing. Do some research out there. Nowadays, you can do a significant amount of research before you even go into making a purchasing decision. You can search the web and find out what the prices are for cars. There's many websites out there that will provide, one of which is Edmunds.com. Can give you an idea, not an exact, but can give you an idea of what vehicles cost as far as make, model, and options that are associated with it. So going in, you'll have a rough idea of what a price of a vehicle might be. Consumer Reports has valuable information about the reliability and value of vehicles. You can search the Better Business Bureau website, bbb.org, to check and see about the dealer that you may be dealing with, to find out that dealer's reputation. There may be reviews that are out there. There's reviews on Yelp and all these other ones that are out there. Take a look at what the comments are. Now, also have a critical eye toward those reviews, because there have been instances, not signaling out dealers, but signaling out general retail as it is, where the reviews that are on these review sites may have been planted there, for lack of a better term. Planted there to make the dealer look better than what they may be. But again, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't look at them and that you can follow up with those. I know on the Better Business Bureau website, they will actually give you the complaints that may have been filed against a particular business with redacted information, the name of the consumer and other names and things they X out or something. But you get the gist of what the complaint is about. Do that research and then make the determination so that when you go in, you know who you're dealing with. And you know you may choose not to deal with a particular person at that time. Another thing to consider is, do you buy the vehicle from a dealer? Or what about the person 2 streets over that has the car there, that has the big for sale sign in the car? And sometimes you may get a better price if you purchase it from a private individual rather than a dealer, and that could make perfect sense. But there are some protections that are afforded to people when they deal with a dealer. For example, if you purchase from a dealer, there are certain lemon law protections that are not available when you're buying from an individual. We'll go through those in a little while. Dealers must be registered with the Department of Motor Vehicles. There's 3 registrations with the Department of Motor Vehicles. There's sales. So if you're going to do motor vehicle sales, you're an auto dealer, you have to be registered. If you're going to do inspections of motor vehicles, you have to be licensed by the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. And if you're going to do repairs, you've got to be licensed by the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. So there are some protections there because the Department of Motor Vehicles will have that control by requiring dealers to be licensed and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Dealers who are selling vehicles, there's a requirement that in order for the vehicle to be transferred to someone, it must be inspected. So it has to be inspected ahead of time. Dealers must provide, especially the manufacturer's dealers, have to provide service or repairs under the manufacturer's warranty if the dealer is franchised by that dealership. So Honda or GM or whatever dealership, they are required to perform manufacturer warranty information. The dealers must indicate in writing on the bill of sale whether the vehicle is being sold under a particular designation, such as a new vehicle, used vehicle, reconstructed vehicle, whether it's a salvage vehicle. They must provide complete odometer and damage information. And so these are the kind of things to look into. I know that our office recently had agreements with many dealers that provides them, under the terms of our agreement, that they will notify people of whether there's outstanding recalls on those vehicles and that it be noted on the vehicle itself. And that's something that a good consumer can already check into. One thing that I would ask the dealership while I'm there buying a vehicle, a used vehicle, is, are there any outstanding recalls currently on the vehicle? And those should be taken care of prior to any transaction taking place. And if you're a buyer, you should insist that those particular things be taken care of. All it requires is, one, if the dealer is a franchise dealer and a franchise of the type of vehicle that's being sold, they can do the repair right at their shop. And they get paid by the manufacturer to do it. So you would think that they would do that. If, however, you go to a dealer that is not a franchise dealer, so a used car dealer somewhere, not affiliated with a franchise, they would have to take the vehicle to a franchise and have it repaired. And you as a consumer should insist that that take place. And I would think that a used car dealer would want to make sure that gets taken care of for the protection of their customers. Here, there are certain things in going in for the deal that some consumers get focused on that they should not just be focused on. A lot of times, the purchaser is only concerned about the monthly payment. This is what I can afford a month. This is what the monthly payment is. That's what I can buy it for. That should be a minor or a less primary factor in deciding whether to purchase a car or not. I grant you, the monthly payment is important, but there are so many factors that go into the monthly payment that it could reflect a good or bad deal for you. Not to get too complicated in the finance, but you have to understand this, in that the monthly payment is a function of three things. Three things that you need to know. And they're primarily more important than focusing on what the monthly payment is, because if you change any of those three factors, it's going to affect your monthly payment. One is the total price that you're financing, the total price that you're paying for the vehicle. The lower the price, the lower the monthly payment. So the higher price, the higher the monthly payment. So that's a crucial factor. How much are you paying for the vehicle? Because going in, you should know what the total price is that you are willing to pay. Don't focus on the monthly payment, focus on the total price. Because the total price is what you have to pay, and the higher the price, the more you're going to dip into your pocket. So know what the value of the vehicle is and pay that price. Two is the interest rates that charges. I have seen astronomical interest rates, especially for used cars, that the higher the interest rate, the more your monthly payment is. So you want to keep the total price of the car down, and you want to keep the interest rate that you have to pay down. All interest is the cost of borrowing money. That's what interest is. The cost, you pay a price for borrowing money, and that's the interest rate. And third, and this is another crucial matter, is the length of time that the loan is outstanding. The longer the time period you have to pay, the smaller the monthly payment. And that can get people in trouble, because I'm seeing loans now stretching out to 8, 9 years, maybe longer. And the longer you stretch that out, yeah, it'll have an effect on reducing your interest rate. But out of pocket, the longer your loan is, the significantly more money you pay over the life of that loan to borrow the money. It's getting to the point in time now where cars are pretty good now. Cars are good. They last a long time. They're getting hundreds of thousands of miles now that they didn't before. And so they're stretching the payments out longer, but the payments are getting so stretched out that it's almost getting out to the length of time that you're using the car. I mean, you're selling a car, you keep a car for 10 years, you do a lot of driving, that's a lot of miles you put on that thing, and you're still paying for it. So the shorter the length of time that you can get your loan, the better off you are as a consumer. Pay a little bit more now for the fact that if you can get it down to as short a loan as possible, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, just think of how much time you will have owning this car when you don't have a car payment anymore. And consequently, if you don't have a car payment anymore, you're not paying somebody interest for that car. You can take that money and bank it and start saving up. And you know what? You might be able to save the money to use it to pay down what you have to pay for the next time you buy a car. So the three factors I think are more crucial than just the monthly payment, which is how much is the loan going to be? What is the interest rate or the cost that it's going to be for me to have to pay this money back? And three, how long a period of time can I get this thing over with? Not some people's mindset, which is, how long can I pay this for? It's better, how long do I have to pay this for, as compared to how long can I pay this for? When you take those three factors into account, that comes out to be your interest payment, or your monthly car payment. So going in to purchase the deal, set the deal up. Figure out how much you're going to have to borrow ahead of time. Figure out what your interest, based on your credit and your payment history and that sort of thing, figure out how much you might be able to qualify for interest rate-wise. And then you can figure out how much your payment's going to be over a particular length of time. So you can figure out all those particular things. And then go about and make a good decision. That is being a good consumer in making those decisions. Again, look at the car. Examine the vehicle during the daytime. Look closely for evidence of maybe collisions and things like that, or rust. Check the paint, the lights, the mirrors for cracks. Examine the interior for damage or wear. Is everything working? Look under, as simple as pull up the corner of the rug, the mat, and look underneath and see if there's any rust that's developed. Open the trunk, examine that. Look in the engine compartment for rusted things or excessive dirt, that sort of thing. Check and see if there's any, turn the key. See if any lights are up on the dashboard to see if anything is particular. Start it, take it out for a test drive, pay attention to everything. Turn. Don't just test the stereo. Turn the sound off. Listen to what's going on. Does it accelerate properly? Does it drive smoothly? Is there any vibrations going on? Do the brakes squeak when you press them? Do those sorts of things. Local streets, try the highway. When you get up on the highway, you get up to cruising speed. Does a car pull one way or the other? Check all those sorts of things. Going into the deal, decide what add-ons you might like. There are certain things that, especially when you go into a dealership, that they may offer to you that you may not necessarily want or need. Extended warranties, rust proofing, any other particular thing that they may ask you about. And if you go in knowing what the prices are generally and an idea of what price range you're talking about, that gives you the better opportunity to negotiate the deal and decide what price you can afford. The best thing that you can do going into the negotiation is, and I've used this all the time when I've been out here, is a principle that I put out there is, don't fall in love with the vehicle before you've bought it. So that way you won't be apt to be talked into buying something that you may not need or like or want. As I've said before, love is blind. Once you fall in love with it, you tend to lose perspective and rationality, and so you can't see yourself driving down the highway in this car until after you own it rather than before you own it. And be wary of things like, hey, this price that I'm giving you today is only available today. Once you walk out today, it's no longer going to be available. That's the immediate time when you get up and walk out. Because if this deal was a deal that was a reasonable, rational deal that you expect to have, that should be available to you at any particular time, giving you a chance to think about it. Get everything in writing. Don't sign anything in blank. We have had complaints throughout the years of dealers that have gotten people to sign things where the consumer thought what they were signing was just an agreement to have their credit checked to make sure that they would go ahead with the deal. Well, what it turned out to be was they signed a contract. And I will emphasize the fact that with an automobile deal, there are no 3 days to cancel. So don't buy thinking you're going to be able to cancel the deal three days hence. There may be some issues where you might get the 3 days. It depends on whether or not you've been advised ahead of time of what the financing terms are, interest rate, monthly payment, that sort of thing. You can't be bound by a deal where they didn't disclose those terms to you, and all of a sudden they come back to you and say, oh, by the way, your interest rate is 25% and your monthly payment is this, whatever. And you say, hey, I can't afford that. I'm out. And they say, well, you signed the contract already. Well, no, that can't be. All the terms have to be there. You have to understand the term, or you have to be told the terms. It's your obligation to understand them before the transaction can go through. You also can shop around yourself as a consumer for financing. You can call your bank. Call your bank and say, hey, what are the interest rates? I'm looking on getting a car. Do you have any guidelines as to what the interest rates generally are? Usually they're based on the age of the car and the length of the loan. But look into those so you have that going into the transaction. Don't put down any money to hold the vehicle unless you get something in writing explaining what that down payment is for. If it is a down payment, many times it's just the initial payment that you're going to make to acquire the vehicle and that you are bound at the time that you sign the contract and make the down payment. If you do not understand it as being that, make sure you get in writing that this money I'm paying is just to hold the vehicle. I am not bound to purchase the vehicle and will be refunded the money should I choose not to buy the vehicle. Again, no 3-day right to cancel. Make sure everything you sign is in writing. Make sure everything that is a part of the deal is in what you're writing in the written document, and don't sign it unless you want to buy it. Few other add-on kind of things: extended warranties and service contracts. Make sure before you purchase it that you understand what it is. They're not cheap. They're in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. Could be a little bit more. And understand what it covers. What does it cover? Is it bumper to bumper complete? Anything goes wrong, the radio goes wrong, the windshield wipers don't work anymore. It covers everything. And what length of time does it cover it for? Usually it's based on how much mileage is on the vehicle. It's not usually based on how much mileage you put on the vehicle. So when you buy a used vehicle, it's usually based on how many miles are on the vehicle at the time of purchase. So it might be, it covers 30,000 miles from date of original delivery. That's not delivery to a used car purchaser. That's date of original delivery when the car was sold by the original purchaser. What repairs are covered? Is it just transmission? Is it just the drive axle? What is it? Is it the whole thing? What's a deductible? Is there a deductible? Where can the warranty repairs be performed? Do you have to go back to this particular dealer? Is there only a limited number of repair shops that are used that honor the warranty? What do you have to do to make a claim? Is it that do you have to pay for the initial diagnostics in order for the warranty to then kick in to repair what actually happens? Does the claim get paid directly to the repair shop, or do you have to front the money for the repair and then get reimbursed by the warranty company? Is there pre-authorization required? What's the reputation of the warranty company? Do they cover their claims, or do they just want to take your money as the premium and then not want to pay to cover the claims? These are all types of things that we need to take into account when we go in to buy this. I know that there are some warranties out there that if you make no warranty claim in the period of time within which the warranty works, there might be some type of a rebate to you. Understand the terms of that so that you can make the good decision as to whether or not you would like it. That's the purchase of the vehicle. As a segue or as a part attached to the purchase of the vehicle, some people don't realize, but there in New York is a requirement that certain vehicles sold have a minimum amount of coverage for repairs. And that's what is affectionately referred to as the lemon law. If someone has purchased a vehicle that is a quote-unquote lemon, and there's a definition of what a lemon would be, they're entitled to protection in that case. And so that is only available when you purchase from a dealer, and in my mind is a minimum coverage. It covers you minimally. It's not a all-encompassing type of a warranty to protect you, but it goes with every vehicle that falls within the parameters of what the statute is. It is significantly less than what a manufacturer would provide for you under a manufacturer's warranty. However, the manufacturer's warranty only provides for repairs. The lemon law warranty provides that if the vehicle does not conform to the lemon law requirements, the consumer has the opportunity to obtain a refund of the money that they spent. There are two distinct types of lemon law warranties in New York, and there are significant differences between the two. Some of the uniform principles remain the same for both of them, but they are two distinctly different ones. There are new car warranties, and I'll get into the definition in a few minutes. And there are used car warranties. They are different. First of all, the lemon law warranties for new and used car apply for vehicles that are primarily used for personal, family, or household use. And that means that it has to be used 50% or more of the time for personal, family, or household use. So if it's a pickup truck that you pick up for the use in your contracting business, and that's what you're going to exclusively use it for, even though the truck is exactly the same as the truck next to it, but that truck is used for personal, family, or household use. One has a lemon law warranty, the other one does not. So it's for vehicles primarily used for personal, family, or household use. So it applies to the type of use that it has. It applies to leased vehicles as well as purchased vehicles, although the calculation for the refund may be a little bit different. And importantly, lemon law warranties cannot be waived. They must be included in the deal. And speaking about the new car warranty first, it applies to manufacturers, but the franchise dealer is the representative or agent of the manufacturer, and it covers the earlier of 18,000 miles from date of original delivery, or mileage on the car, or 2 years from original delivery, whichever occurs first. So you have it for 2 years if you're the little old lady that drives the car to church on Sunday, and that's it. You're probably going to have your 2 years expire before the 18,000 miles does. Or if you are, is it the family van that you use to drive people around, and you're probably going to get to the 18,000 miles before the 2 years is up. So it applies to either or, whichever occurs first. It has to be a vehicle purchased, leased, or registered in New York. The manufacturer or their authorized agent, like the franchise dealer, must make the repairs free of charge, without any deductible, for defects to the vehicle. The repairs must be made even if the 18,000 miles has expired and the 2 years have expired. Meaning, if the defect occurred before the cutoff period, even though the vehicle goes outside the cutoff period, the repair still needs to be made. There's a potential problem with that. And the problem is that if you buy a vehicle, I don't think the legislature thought of this when they were creating it. If you buy a vehicle that has 17,500 miles on it, it still qualifies as the new car warranty because it's the 17,000, it's under the 18,000 miles. So technically you have a warranty for 500 miles before it then goes outside the 18,000. So that's just a quirk in the law, I think, that people really didn't think about and provide for. But I've been doing this a really long time, and I've never heard that being a significant problem. We've never had anybody come in and complain that they bought a car and that it's not being repaired because it's outside the mileage, and it was a 17,500 mile vehicle. Principally because the manufacturer's warranties usually last much longer than that anyway, but it's still there nonetheless. So the warranty is that if the manufacturer is unable to repair or correct a defect or condition, which the definition is substantially impairs the value of the vehicle, after a reasonable number of attempts, the manufacturer must accept the return of the vehicle and pay a refund, or replace the vehicle with a comparable motor vehicle, and it's the customer's choice of what they get, a replacement or a refund. What's reasonable number of attempts? I've often said here at Cornell Cooperative Extension, the term reasonable is defined by lawyers that go into court and present to the judge what the facts and circumstances are. Reasonable number of attempts, though, have been defined in this law, and it's defined as, for new cars, 4 or more attempts to repair within the warranty period, or after if the defect continues to exist after the warranty period, but it still has not been corrected. It's 4 or more attempts. You have to take the vehicle back. That's why I encourage, if you take a vehicle back and they keep the receipt that they give you when you take it in, and if the dealer says, oh, don't worry about it, you don't need a receipt, it's all covered under warranty anyway, say, that's okay, I really still would appreciate it if you could give me a receipt for that. And then you can keep a record of whether or not you had it in. So if the vehicle is fixed within the reasonable number of attempts, the obligation of the manufacturer has been satisfied. I know there are some of us out there who would say, okay, I've had it in twice, it's not fixed yet, I spent a lot of money on this new car. I don't think I should have to have a vehicle or be forced to keep this vehicle. You've tried it twice, you haven't fixed it, I don't want a repaired car. I bought a new car, I want a repaired car. Lemon Law does not give you the option to get your money back unless a reasonable number of attempts have occurred. And that is defined as 4 or more, or if it's, let's say it's 2 attempts and the dealer says, hey, look, I can't fix it. It's impossible to be fixed. That would make it, attempting to fix it 2 more times, unreasonable, because they've said, we can't fix it, so why should you have to keep bringing it in when they've said we can't fix it? So that would trigger it as well. But the best thing is to get the 4 or more attempts. I'll talk about what happens if the vehicle still is defective at that point in time in a few minutes, because that procedure is the same whether you have a new car or a used car warranty. Let's move over to the used car warranty. Used car warranty is a little bit different in many respects in that it's the definition of a defect in a new car is anything that substantially impairs the value of the vehicle. Used car, the definition is much different, and that is, first of all, it applies to the dealer rather than the manufacturer. So the dealer who sells a used vehicle is the one that's obligated. It covers, rather than substantially impairs the value, it actually only covers specifically designated parts. Specifically designated parts that are defective, that cannot be repaired. So it covers the covered parts is the term used. Covered parts are the engine, the transmission, the drive axle, the brakes, but not the brake pads because those things wear out. Steering, radiator, alternator, generator, the ignition system, that sort of thing. It does not apply to things that wear out. Brake pads, wipers, wiper motors, tires, those sorts of things it doesn't cover. It's only the covered part. And what happens is if a covered part is defective within the warranty period, the dealer must repair or give you your repair within a reasonable number of attempts or give you the option of a replacement vehicle or giving you your money back. The definition of reasonable number of attempts for a used vehicle is 3 or more within the warranty period. Now, what is a used car? Well, it depends on, it's over 18,000 miles, because we talked about the new car went up to 18,000. And it depends on the mileage on the vehicle as to what kind of warranty you get. And again, it's a really short period of time. If the vehicle has 18,001 miles up to 36,000 miles, the warranty is 90 days, so in essence 3 months. Or 4,000 miles, whichever comes first. If it's 36,001 miles to 79,999 miles, the warranty is 60 days or 3,000 miles. And if it's 80,000 miles to 100,000 miles, it's 30 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. The other outside provision is if it's 15 days out of service, it's within the warranty period, and it's 15 days out of service, the warranty will be triggered to say the dealer can't get it fixed within the requisite period of time. That would trigger it. That 15 days can be extended out to 45 days if the manufacturer can't get the parts. So if you take it in for a defect of a covered part and the manufacturer can't fix it and he can't get the parts and it goes out to 45 days, that triggers the lemon law warranty and you're entitled to a refund. The dealer can exclude some things, like if the failure of the part is due to the consumer not getting maintenance done or that sort of thing, or if the owner of the vehicle is going out and using the cars, abusing the car, drag racing and that sort of thing, then obviously that's going to void any type of lemon law warranty. The dealer must repair it at no cost, including no deductible, or reimburse the consumer for any repairs that have occurred. If the repairs cannot be made after a reasonable number of attempts, and that's 3, it's presumed to be a lemon, and then that triggers the lemon law warranty. So what can happen when the lemon law warranty is triggered? There is an arbitration process that has been set up that the consumer can file a lemon law arbitration claim through our office. You can get the information through us, and can take the dealer to an arbitration where an arbitrator decides whether or not the threshold has been met Is it within the warranty period? Is it a defect that substantially impairs the value that doesn't exist, that still exists after the attempts have been made? Then the arbitrator can decide in favor of the consumer. Traditionally, I haven't looked up the statistics recently, but traditionally over the years, it's generally that with new cars that roughly consumers win about 2/3 of the time. Might have been the last time I looked at it, the latest statistics were that 60% of the time that they won. But the whole arbitration process is governed under the law as to what happens. The good thing for the consumer is the arbitration can occur in their locality. They don't have to go to a really far place to do the arbitration. There's a small fee associated with the arbitration, and if the consumer is successful, they can get that back. And it's, again, up to the consumer to decide, not the dealer to decide, whether they're entitled to either a full refund or replacement of the vehicle. Most people usually choose the cash, get the money back and go somewhere else. The refund should be the entire value refunded, including the value of any vehicle that was traded in. And that will be based on what the contract was of how much you got back for that vehicle. It's all going to be governed by that. And one important thing, and this is especially true nowadays because cars are really good and they're going really longer and more mileage, the Lemon Law warranty expires at 100,000 miles. So if you buy a vehicle that has 110,000 miles on it, there is no Lemon Law warranty. That hasn't been extended. It's kept the same. So even if you buy a vehicle and you drive it off the lot and it's fine for a week, and a week later something happens, there is no Lemon Law warranty. Things happen to vehicles. Things happen more frequently the more miles that are on a vehicle, so that the dealer is not going to be held responsible. The only thing that a consumer could do is if they could show that whatever defect occurs in the vehicle existed at the time that the transfer took place, and that the dealer knew about it or should have known about it. You can relate it back to the fact that it should not have been sold in the condition that it was in. That's a very difficult burden to meet. It is very difficult, and so that will be a tough pull, but if you can have a professional, an expert, be able to determine that, then that's something that can be done. The important thing is if there is a defect, notify the manufacturer and the dealer within a certain number of, within a very quick period of time, so that it can be taken care of readily, or at least the person be notified about it. Let's talk about one last aspect of the automobile purchase thing, and that's repairs. As I first mentioned, all automobile repair shops are required to be licensed by the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. And if people take it in, have a repair done that they don't think was satisfactorily completed, there are complaint processes through the Department of Motor Vehicles that you can file a complaint with them. They're saying you got a bad repair, you got charged $600 for a repair that did not take care of the problem. There are actually mechanics, former mechanics, who are the inspectors for the Department of Motor Vehicles. They know cars, they know what happens, they can look at it, they can look at the paperwork that the dealer has, and they can make a determination whether what the dealer did was reasonable or not. And if not, they can punish the dealer for charging for repairs that either weren't done or not done properly or not properly diagnosed, that sort of thing. As far as repair goes, the best thing you can do is have your mechanic. Have a mechanic. Have a mechanic ahead of time. Know somebody that you've taken your car to, you are comfortable with and trust, so that they can take a look at it. You trust them. You can get recommendations from friends, family members, coworkers. Find a repair shop that will honor any warranty that you have. Don't necessarily look for the cheapest. Make sure that the repair shop is capable of doing your particular repair. Use a personal example. Our personal mechanic that we use, who's great, doesn't do certain things that he doesn't have the equipment to do. And I know that going in. And so I'll inquire of him, though, to say, hey, do you know where I should take this to do this particular thing if you don't do it? And he's very good about that sort of stuff. Find out when you're doing the repair. First of all, you're entitled to an estimate ahead of time. Make sure you get an estimate ahead of time. You're entitled to be asked and to approve any repairs. Don't just drop off the car and then all of a sudden have sticker shock when the repair comes back for $1,000 when you didn't expect that it was going to be anything close to that. Know what work has to be done. Know if you're going to be charged for the diagnostics and determining what is wrong. Is there a charge associated with it? How much? Make sure that the estimate specifies what work will be done, and make sure you have the right to receive any parts that were replaced. You're entitled to receive the bad parts. Make sure your instructions are clear and that of the authority that you have given to them for making the repairs. If you believe that there was a bad repair that was done or something, you can file a complaint with the Department of Motor Vehicles. You can file a complaint with our office. Our office doesn't have mechanics on staff. We can't tell whether or not. If you come to me, I'm not going to be able to tell if a repair is bad or not. I have no knowledge about that sort of thing. But what we can do is attempt to mediate your complaint. We can send your complaint to the dealer, get their side of the story. If you put down in your complaint form you want a refund of X number of dollars or whatever, they can entertain that. We can't make the dealer give somebody a refund, but we can at least try to work on your behalf to have that done. I hope that going into a purchase or repair of a vehicle that you do your due diligence, that you understand where you are going in. There's a lot of information that's available out there to all of us that we can go into a deal ahead of time to know. Before I bought my most recent vehicle that I bought a little over a year ago, I had an idea going into the deal what the prices were for the vehicles that I was looking at so that I could negotiate a fair price. I'm not trying to rip off a dealer, but I also don't expect to be ripped off either. But if you go in, the more information you have, the better bargaining position you're in. Do that. Same thing with the repairs. Know who you're dealing with as far as repair goes. Get an estimate. Understand what the costs are for these sorts of things, how long it's going to take, and therefore you can make a good decision on whether or not to have this particular repair shop or another repair shop do your work. Again, if you have any questions related to this or any other consumer-related matter, please feel free to call our office. We have consumer representatives available to speak with you. If you have to leave a message, we will get back to you. Sometimes our consumer rep or interns are on the phone and tied up for that particular moment, but we do get back to everyone, and we will try to get back to you to answer your questions. We cannot give you legal advice. We can't tell you what you should do. We can just tell you what your options are, and then you can make the best decision for you on whether or not to file a complaint or to go to an attorney and sue someone. That'll be up to you. But feel free. That's why we're here. Call us, contact us. We will try to give you that guidance. And again, if you're in Ithaca on the second Thursday of the month around 11 a.m. and you have nothing to do, come on down. Join us here at our Consumer Issues program. It'd be great to have you here. I'd bring up questions that I hadn't thought about. So we hope that you will join us. So it's been a pleasure being here today with you, and I hope that if you have any questions, please contact us. Thank you.